We're very grateful that this case has been resolved, but this is not the end of this story.
A $500,000 settlement reached in a civil lawsuit against the city of Fresno after family members said police mishandled their loved ones' calls for help during domestic violence. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Nick Garcia.
And I'm Vanessa Vasconcelos. We're live on ABC 30 Hulu Live and wherever you stream. Today, the families of Pamela Motley and Cindy Raygoza announced that their 8-year-long lawsuit against the city is over after the two sides agreed to a cash settlement outside of court.
Action News reporter Gabe Ferris tells us why the families were suing Fresno and how they plan to use settlement funds to help victims of domestic violence. Gabe?
Nick and Vanessa, the Motley and Raygoza families first filed this 30-page lawsuit against Fresno and the city's police department back in 2015. The lawsuit alleges that Fresno officers could have done much more to protect Pamela Motley and Cindy Raygoza from domestic violence, but now the two sides have settled. 8 years after suing the city of Fresno, the families of two domestic violence victims say they've settled their differences with the city outside of court.
Well, today marks the end of a long road for the families, the Motley and the Raygoza families.
The $500,000 settlement, reached in October but publicly announced on Tuesday, comes after the civil lawsuit bounced around the court system for years. Fresno attorney Kevin Little says it started in the spring of 2014 when Pamela Motley's husband shot her just months after she separated from him. According to Little, Paul Motley had a history of abusing Pamela. The 57-year-old man even left a note one day saying he would be back to kill her. But when Pamela reported that threat to the police, Little said Fresno police officers dropped the ball.
The officers said, these guys only follow up on these things 1% of the time.
Just a few days later, Paul returned. He shot Pamela before turning the gun on himself. Pamela survived, but was left a quadriplegic and passed away a few years later from COVID-19 related complications. The family of Cindy Raygoza also says the Fresno Police Department should have done more to protect her. The 45-year-old woman was stabbed to death in July 2014 by Michael Reams. He was Raygoza's ex-boyfriend and died when police shot him as they arrived on the scene.
Unfortunately, just within less than a minute of the officers arriving, this female was killed. And the officers did everything they can to intercede.
That's what then Police Chief Jerry Dyer said about the killing. But Little says Raygoza was afraid to call for help because of what police told her during a previous incident.
And they told her even worse, if you call the police again about this individual, you'll just be crying wolf. So Ms. Raygoza never called again.
The city of Fresno declined our request for comment, and Kevin Little says the city did not agree to any concessions as part of the settlement. Now the families say they'll use some of the settlement to establish a foundation advocating for victims of domestic violence. It's an important reminder that if you or anyone you know is a victim of such violence, resources are available. Vanessa.